It doesn't matter if we're on a beach, perhaps ascending a mountain, or just relaxing. We all need peace.
If we just need to find it for a second, or we take the precious time to create it. We don't mind when life takes the wheel.
Just as long as it doesn't drive us crazy. So ask yourself, where is your peace?
Guys, as you can tell by that video, we're talking about peace. This is Chris, that's Angela, and we are the Spice Life. So yeah, it's talking about finding and creating your peace.
Yes.
What's the difference? How can we, manage through that and navigate through that? And first of all, I like to start off by asking how you doing.
I'm doing pretty good. I could say that I had a pretty productive day today. Got a lot done, so that's always good.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm good.
I saw that. I saw some of what you got done. It was a good deal. And yeah, that's exciting. So, all right. So finding and creating your peace. What is it? First of all, what is peace? Does that mean something we're talking about on a grand scale? Well, in this case, as you probably can figure out, it's talking about us personally.
Yes.
Talking about you, me, us as human beings, and things that we can do to find and also create it. Now, from what you know, Angela, what you think is the difference? Is there a difference between finding peace and then creating peace?
Yeah, because if you think about peace, it's you talk about peace. Well, we're talking about mentally. We're talking about being able to manage stress and anxiety. So finding it means you have to let's say that you need peace. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you need the peace. So you're trying to find it. Like some days I'm like, oh man, I'm overwhelmed. I need to find peace. I need to, find it. And after I find it, let's say if I'm in a quiet place, then I have to create it. So there's two different things you got there.
But sometimes you would be like, man, I can't get no peace around here.
Yeah. Then you need to leave.
You need to leave.
You need to go somewhere where there is peace. Sometimes you're gonna have situations like that where there is no peace. It could be loud. You could be at work and there's no peace at work. You could be anywhere. You could be in a grocery store and it could be so loud in the grocery store or wherever you are, and you would have to step outside so that you can get a little quietness, a little time to, kind of recoup from all that. So
what if you cannot leave? Let's think about a work environment.
Yeah.
What if you can't just leave in that moment?
In that moment, if you can't, you can always take a little bathroom break, a little bio break, and just get a little quiet time. It don't have to be an hour or so. It could be a little time. As long as you can get away and take some time and just, breathe, kind of get, make sure you're calm. Go to the break room. If you got to go get some water or, go to the restroom or just take a quick, walk around the office just to kind of, you can say, hey, hold on for a minute. If you, even if you, let's say if you're a person that's on a call, just say, hold on for one moment, put the person on hold, get a little time. I mean, it could be 1 to 2 minutes. And then after you're done with the call, you can extend that, once you don't have those, the anything to prevent you from, taking a little bit more time from that, but you have to manage that well.
As I think about finding it and creating it. They're kind of interconnected. Some people may think they're the same, but I don't believe they're exactly the same. Finding it is something that you kind of can do a little bit quickly. So just like we mentioned in the scenario, work scenario, it may be a little overwhelming situation. Mm-hmm. So to quickly find a little piece, you may, like you said, go to the bathroom. Say, let me find me a stall and just think for a minute.
Yeah.
That's probably in a way trying to, which are consciously or subconsciously, finding a moment of peace.
Yes.
To a hectic day or a hectic situation. Creating it, I say, is more of thinking about it and actively doing it, and can last in some cases over a longer stretch of time. And depending on how much of it you think you need, is how much is created, because it's very deliberate. So that's how I think they're connected in a way that you're trying to get it either way. That's how the connection, but they're separate in a way of how the process goes.
Yeah, it seems like creating it is kind of sort of like planning it.
Yeah,
this plan. There's something that you have planned, scheduled out, because you created it, right? So that's good. Yeah.
So I read, this is some information I got from some counselors. They don't have a specific name, but they're a group of counselors. I guess they do work in Kentucky. And if they ever hear this and they want to specifically say, okay, I wrote that document or I said this, that's fine. And it talked about two things. What is important? Why is it important to find inner peace? Peace in your life. That it talks about that. But then it lists 8 things to that peace and happiness. So some of the things that I'll talk about in word, it may not be to the letter, but it talked about, number 1, spend time in a nature-like setting. So those walkabouts some people may do, can get those campers. Those are ways of consciously or even subconsciously just finding your peace. That's one. Then just finding times to kind of just ease your mind, just to rest your mind, just finding a quiet place. That's something you can do a little instantly. We talked about in the work environment, but we're talking about somebody taking the time to do it and creating the time for it, maybe on a day off or something. And then number 3 is showing appreciation for things, recognizing how much you appreciate. And there's a million things we can show appreciation for. That's one of the suggestions. Number 4, it says what?
Number 4, it says take responsibility for your actions.
Now I want to talk about this because somebody may say, what? But here it says taking responsibility and accountability for all your actions takes a whole level of maturity. Even when it's hard, you'll find peace and happiness by admitting your mistakes. If we can get through that part, that is, I have found it to be a relief. Like, it's hard to admit mistakes. Most human beings are like, it's hard to just get that out of, they'll blame something else before they can admit it. But imagine if you're able to release that, like, man, I made a mistake on that. Now, here's a tough one. I don't know about you guys, but this is not easy for me. Accepting criticism.
Yes.
Accepting criticism. We may hear it, but to accept it, if it's legitimate, genuine, I'm adding this. If it's legitimate, genuine, sincere critique of something, being able to accept it actually is a part of taking responsibility and actions for something. So I think, and what's the rest of that say? Criticism
and use them to improve yourself, as accepting that you made mistakes will make you a more resilient person.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain. Thank you, Angela. So I'm gonna explain because some people may, but imagine that if you can say, you know what, so and so was right. Let me use Angela for example. Angela may say, and I may say, man, you know what, Angela is right. That's tough to hear, but she's right on that. I know she's telling me that out of love. That's something I'm going to adjust and work on, and I appreciate that. and you're able to accept it. You see it. You have a loving way you accept it, even if you may not vocalize it to everybody. Heck, I may not even tell Angela, but it's done in my mind.
Yes.
If you think about it, being able to do that should be seen as a relief. Like, whew, if we're mature enough to accept that. That to me I never thought about that one before, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things too, when you talk about maturity in itself is peace. When you're dealing with someone that's mature, they are going to do those things. They're going to take responsibilities for your actions. And also when you talk about not letting your past mistakes
that's number 5
define you, I think that was something that you mentioned.
Yep, I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, it's like you're at peace with whatever that was done. You're at peace with things that people done to you. That means you moved on. You're not allowing it to stress you out. And when you're not allowing those things to define you, you're not thinking about them. You're not letting it stress you out. You are a happier person. And if someone brings it up because that's what people do, they will bring up stuff. And
purposely and unpurposely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Being able to move on from that and not letting it define you, it'll go in one ear and come out the other. Because guess what? You're not letting the past define you. It's like, oh, so what does this mean to me? That's already done. It's happened. I've made peace with it. I moved on. That's on you.
And here's the reality of it, ladies and gents. Everybody on this planet, if they've lived long enough, has made some sort of mistakes.
Yes.
And things have happened in their life they don't jump for joy about. Everybody. And if there's a person that exists that has lived a life long enough and they don't feel that's the case, they don't live on this planet. I don't know where they live, but it couldn't be on this planet because that's just not the way it works. The key is realizing that you're one of the billions that have made mistakes and holding on to it, remembering it, dwelling on it, being around people that like the way, whatever the case may be, is not going to help you at all. And it's not going to be of any benefit to your peace. And if you can't get that other person or to see it, if you say things, you're good. You've gotten that negative mentality out of your mind that, I made a mistake in 1744 and I'm going to just keep remembering it. Let's say, for instance, you change that kind of thinking and now you realize that you've grown to be better and different and you matured like everybody else done. Make sure you're not around that situation now. Mm-hmm. You can't put yourself in an environment if you're trying to create your peace.
Right. Also, too, we can be in a mind frame where we're thinking, man, I shouldn't have bought that car. If I didn't buy that car, I would have saved such and so money. Oh, you know what? If I'd be rich. You know what? I wish I had thought about, this before that. Then my life would have been better. It's done and over with. You can't go back and think about those things because it's done. You have to be in the present. And a wise person told me, because I have a struggle with that, thinking in the present, that you have to get out your own head. You got to get out of that head of yours and think in the present, in the current. If you think about that, if you do that, that is hard to do because we're constantly thinking about stuff. Oh, I need to do it. You need to be in the present moment. Because if you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about the past, you're going to be stressed out.
So here's two things in relation, I think, to clarify. It's okay to think about things in the past. It's you bringing up knowledge of things. It's the kind of thing. It's the negative thinking. This is where people do it so much they don't even realize how negative they sound. They usually hard on themselves and then they hard on other. They don't even realize they're negative to other people. Because if you're already hard on yourself, you don't even realize how you sound when you're speaking on other people. You may think it sounds positive, but it doesn't. But you got to stop that. It's okay to think about, oh man, I remember them great times I had with so and so. Man, that was a good purchase. I'm glad we, our car breakdown, we got another car. So you can look at a positive. All right, you know what? Even though that happened, I can sell that car and get some money off of it. You got to think about things in a think back on something, but think about it in a beneficial way. Think about it in a positive way. Think about the resolution of it, and get out of the pattern of think about the doom and gloom way, which is, believe it or not, there are some people that do it like they get paid for it.
Yeah, and we're talking about not letting past mistakes define you, but also you're talking about the future. Sometimes you can let those define your future too, if you talk about these past mistakes.
That's kind of connected to something that I think we're going to talk about later, which is the self-esteem thing.
Yeah, because you're talking about, let's say a past mistake can define your future. You could be upset with someone, and that could cause you to say, I'm not going to ever talk to this person again, or I'm going to watch how I behave around this person, when that's not, you know what I'm saying, that's how you have to do this. Let's not let certain things define you. But that was an example.
One thing
there could be a lot of things that could we could talk about in that regard.
One thing it mentioned on here too, along with don't let your past mistakes define you, is guess what's going to happen in your life that just part of life. You're gonna make some more mistakes. What you're gonna do, reminisce and rehash over those too. You're gonna make some mistakes that just affect you. You're gonna make some mistakes that affect others. You gotta forgive yourself.
Yeah, you won't be at peace. Also think about this too. Think about how you're gonna react if someone does bring stuff up. How are you gonna react? If someone gets on your nerve, if someone, period. If something just gets you upset, no matter what it is, what they do, what they say, you have to have in your mind, you have to practice, okay, I want to be in peace of mind. I want to stay at peace. How will I deal with that? And that's part of one of the things of creating peace. You're planning what you're going to do next if this happens, Yeah. So I think that helps.
So we're going to talk, it's about 3 more. That's number 5. We're going to talk about 3 more, but something to think about while we're talking before we get there. How do you know if you need it? Like, how do you know, oh man, I think I'm going to have to take me some me time. I got to create some peace. I got to do self-care, as they say. How do you know that? What clicked in your head to realize that was the moment you needed? Because here's my thoughts on the matter. Angela, you can tell me yours. Sometimes it can be something very small, and sometimes it can be something big. My whole thing is, and before you say your thing, don't wait until the world is exploding and say, "Oh, I gotta do some self-care." No, half the city is fell down, and I'm talking about in your own world, so to speak. So, I think we all need it to some degree. But we got to make sure we find the appropriate time.
Yeah. Also, for me, there are times that I will be more overwhelmed or more stressed out than others. So whenever I feel that I'm about to react in a certain way, that's not in my character or the way I normally would, you can just feel it. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it, period, So basically, once I get my cue, I will just say, well, sometimes I'll have to say to Chris, hey, I'm just not, I'm not doing good right now. Let me have a moment to myself. Let me, let me spend a little time and let me kind of get myself back in, in check. That's before I say or do anything. So giving those warnings help too, but those are some of the things that I do. I can feel it. Or let's say if it's, sometimes if it's gone a little bit beyond, I would say something. I would snap, and that's telling me, okay, you know what, I need a little bit time for myself. I need to a little bit of self-care. I need to take care of myself, because the main thing is if it's me, I'm going through this myself, why would I bring another person into negativity that's happening within me that they don't even know what's going on? It could be anything that it doesn't have to do with the other person. I am a woman that is almost, well, I'm not 50 yet, but in a few years I'll be 50. So our bodies go through changes. And even as women that are younger, you know, you have certain times in the month where you're going to really need to do some self-care and, you know, find your peace. Because we have things that happen within us that are natural, that's going to happen, that we need to take care of, or take care of ourselves, or be to ourselves, to make sure we are, you know, thinking, you know, I shouldn't say think properly, but that we are on the right track when we're talking about the way we think, because sometimes our hormones could really get in the way of, you know, us, you know, having a peaceful day, you know. So that's what the self-care, it does help. If you need to go get the nails done, get the pedicures, you know, get the hair did, they have to help you feel good. If you need a massage or whatever you need to do, whatever is gonna help you get out that negative frame of mind, it's important to do.
Regardless too, and along with that, you just gotta make sure your mind's right. You can't, some people say, oh, you know, so and so, just make sure if you're right, if you're really good and you got yourself together and you know, like Angela said, did all these things, it don't matter really what going on, you know, on a normal day. It's not going to really phase you because you're good. In fact, you're so good, this is where you're going to be. You're so in much peace and such a good state, and you've gotten yourself where it need to be, that you can rub off for good on others. You can give that positive, and that just the way it can bring someone out of their own whatever. But hopefully we all try to do that for ourselves.
Also, to add to what I was just saying too, sometimes there are situations where you need to see a specialist if your hormones are way out of whack, if this is happening on an extreme level or if it's happening a lot, you know. So, you know, make sure that is self-care, going into a specialist and making sure that you are okay, that your health is okay.
Yeah, always get your regular checkups and things like that. All right, so number 6, and we kind of already talked around it, and this is more obvious. Love yourself. Love yourself, and that cover love yourself is talking about what?
It says self-care is important to finding peace and happiness. How can you be truly happy in a life if you cannot love yourself? Loving yourself means looking after your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health. These include eating healthy, exercising regularly, and looking after your overall well-being.
So, again, now you see how it's connected to physical health. It throws you off regiments, goals, schedules. You may still walk, you may still run, you may still work out, you may still do these things, but it starts throwing off balance if you haven't got this in check yet. If you haven't got yourself in a very good place to maintain it, do it with consistency and maintain that good flow and make it still a good experience, which is what you want to do when you're doing any kind of exercise.
That's true.
So self-care, this is the self-care part. That's really what it's saying. Love yourself. Self-care is the same thing. And some of the ways you can do that is, like we said, it's all connected. Even a walk. You may have a bad day, and just doing the walk, which is a physical routine, which is a part of the process that you use to help yourself physically and lose weight, is also going to help you mentally. Because now when you're going into a different environment, you change your environment, you change your situation, and you're in a good place. That's number 7.
Number 7 is practice acceptance and contentment.
What does that mean?
It says, in finding peace and happiness, acceptance and contentment are key. Accept that you will have problems in life and learn how to deal with them.
Yeah.
And it says being contented means having emotional, physical, or even financial contentment. The desire for material things and financial wealth does not excite an individual with inner peace.
Did you already know that?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Because life life lessons. It doesn't, and think about this too. When you talk about wealth, the most successful, the most wealthy people are not happy. They're not content with what they have. They still striving to make more money. They have enough money probably to live a life and for them and their kids, but they still chasing that paper.
There may be some people that's happy. I think they're happy. You never know. It's because that's not what defines them, I would say. But that doesn't make or break you, brother. If you have money, you don't become unhappy. So it's more like that's not going to get. Some people if people thinking that's what's going to get them happiness, that's where the disappointment lies. Like, man, I'm still unsatisfied.
Well, if you think about it too, a lot of folks that are really wealthy billionaires, they are not content with how they look. They're out getting plastic surgery. They're not content with
their company,
even with the money that they make, because they still trying to make money. Yeah.
Give me my pinky and my knapsack. And
they still going through mental health, because some of them, and I'm just saying, some people have really I have to, I don't know how to say it, but they decided they didn't want to live anymore. Let's just say that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because they have a lot of money. They should be. You would think that if a person that's content, if you think about content, you have to define that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because a content person that is wealthy is different than a content person that is either, got all their bills paid off, or they pay all their bills every month, blah, 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 or a person that's poor, but in that they are not, they're struggling to pay it. But some people are still content even when they poor and don't have enough money. They're still content.
Well, they're content because they don't see it as rich or poor.
Right.
They're content. They're satisfied with what they have. Brother, they have pennies in their pocket, all right? Or they have billions. They were content, brother, they had that or not. That's a content person.
Exactly. So you can't define contentment on anything material. It's up in here. So that's basically what we're trying to say. Right. And you be at more peace. I think that is a very strong word there, to contentment.
Remember, it mentioned acceptance with contentment.
Yes. So you accept what you accept you accept your life as it is. That makes you content with what you're going through, or whatever's happening in your life.
You know why they mention acceptance, why acceptance is important? This is what I'm thinking anyway. If you have acceptance, that doesn't mean that you don't have goals, and it's not things you're going to get better at and you learn from. Acceptance is mean you don't spend a lot of time complaining about what you don't have.
It's true.
You don't get a lot, it's always going to be something if you don't have contentment. And if you're not a big believer in acceptance, which means that you could be like, man, you got the Corvette you thought about, you got this, you got that, and then say, I can't get that yacht yet. It's always no contentment. You won't have an acceptance of things, and it's a miserable person, and anybody around them be miserable.
And one thing you got to watch for too is the company that you keep, the people that you're around, the circle that you have. You can't allow them to influence you. I mean, sometimes some people allow that to influence them, and they're trying to be like their circle. Yeah. Or their circle is influencing them in a certain way.
Right. So part of the last one that they mentioned, which is part of the, the nature of the fresh air, and even no matter where you are, is you want to declutter.
Yes.
Declutter, which could connect to being a little bit more organized. Try to organize things in your mind, organize things around you. Not saying that you have to be some kind of like monk, but have a little bit of structure.
Yes.
To things where everything is not cluttered, and you definitely don't want to be a person that, like some of those people on what is that show, Hoarders or something. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But so it's not asking for perfection. It's not saying you, but it's find a little. You'll find too, this is what I know, when you do get a little give yourself a little elbow room a little bit, you feel better that day. You know, straighten up a little bit, you'll feel better that day. It's the beginning.
Yes.
All these are not in some sort of order. These are just things that can definitely help you with creating. That's creating peace. And then, of course, finding peace is just those moments you got, like, I got to go over here. I got to do this. Let me go over there for a second. Let me go. You know what? For break, I'm going to go over here to this favorite place I like. I know I might be a little longer, but, man, I think I need it.
Yes.
You may get off and with a friend say, hey, man, it's the weekend. Let's go to a football game. That may be your piece.
Yes.
So
yes.
It just depends.
I totally agree.
Guys, it's been another one.
Yeah.
Another one down. Create your peace. Find your peace. Enjoy your life. Because life is spicy.
It is. Spicy.
So we'll see you guys next time on the Spice.
Oh, also, guys, www.spice.
Live.
Yes.
Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff, and all the fun things. You can find us everywhere. Podbean.
Yes. Follow us. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.